Hello and welcome to Studio 415.
On today's show, you'll hear students' reaction to the change in the cell phone policy.
You'll see how Carroll will be expanding later this year.
And you'll hear how a local church is trying to fight sex trafficking.
All of that and more coming up next.
We'll be breaking ground on the new addition part in the February-March.
A lot of students were getting their phones taken in the hallway. You didn't really know which teacher was going to take them.
We ended up raising over $5,000, which saved 2 girls out of sex trafficking.
Welcome to Studio 415. I'm Colson Miner.
And I'm Andrew Yeager.
An uprise in student enrollment in tight classrooms is making Carroll High School feel smaller and smaller.
In our story, we spoke to the administration about when the construction will begin and what to expect.
An expansion is set to happen at Carroll High School starting in March 2024 and spanning into the school year 2026. Every year, Carroll High School has larger and larger classes coming in. Spaces is becoming more and more limited, causing packed classrooms and stuffed hallways. Assistant Superintendent of Safety and Operations Brandon Bidding says demographic study shows that there will be large increase in students year after year.
So the demographer, when we looked at the demographer study last fall, his line was you need to prepare for 500 students in the near future. Now, if you look at the projections he gave, that's going to be coming over that 5 to 8 year period.
With the huge number of incoming students, the school has to make more room. The expansion will allow for 25 classrooms and a larger cafeteria and weight room. The building itself will have a 2-story expansion south towards Bethel Road, and the new larger weight room will be added to the east side of the building. Although there is not an exact value yet, it is estimated that the expansion will cost $45 million. But Bidding believes that this will not affect the community.
Now the great news is for our community members is because we have some other projects such as Eel River and some other buildings that are coming off that debt structure, we can take on this debt and not impact the overall tax rate that our community has.
As with any construction project, the students of Carroll High School will face many changes to their daily life. One main change and inconvenience will be the use of door 13. Due to the construction of the cafeteria, the use of the most commonly used door will be limited and the students will be forced to use a different entrance into the school. Fortunately for Carroll, Principal Cleve Millian believes that the construction should not affect learning too much and that it will be a while until any inconvenience will have to be dealt with.
It shouldn't affect a whole lot of us as we're running a normal day school day. It'll be outside. The difficulty will be when those rooms are done and moving people out into those new spaces and then renovating some of the interior rooms. So it'll probably be a year or so before we kind of feel that pinch within the building itself.
Board members and administrators are going to bi-weekly meetings for the construction. Construction is expected to start March 1st, 2024. For Studio 415, I'm Andrew Jameson.
One For Win organization is partnering with Carroll High School students to fight to prevent a global issue.
Studio 415 reporter Tanner Marker spoke with the people involved with the campaign She Has a Name. He joins us in the studio now.
Savannah Dyes is a youth pastor at Pathway Community Church. She challenged herself to save 100 girls out of sex trafficking by holding fundraisers and spreading awareness to her community. Human sex trafficking is a battle being fought all around the world that continues to be overlooked. Girls and boys around the world are being exploited and forced into sexual acts with over $150 billion of revenue being made annually. Because of this, one person in our community started a fight to end this issue. Savannah Dyes, in collaboration with Destiny Rescue, the organization that is raising money to prevent sex trafficking, hosted a garage sale on Saturday, September 9th. This event is helping to reach her goal of $150,000. Dyes has currently raised just over $100,000, which has helped to save almost 70 girls across the world. This garage sale was for more than just raising money for a cause, though. Dyes told us that shedding light on the issue of sex trafficking was also one of her motives.
Well, I think last year's garage sale was super successful, and so honestly, I'm hoping the same thing for this year, but it's more than just raising funds or a garage sale. It's about raising awareness because there's a problem going on in the world and we have to do something about it. We want to end sex trafficking.
Items at the garage sale included furniture, clothes, along with other household items such as coffee makers and shoes that were donated from the community. Dyes says that there was tremendous amounts of help preparing and setting up for this garage sale. This event lasted 8 hours and had a fabulous turnout. Carroll High School junior Hayden Sandquist helped set up the garage sale. Sandquist believes that this is an issue not just across the world, but also in our hallways.
And as Christians, we're called to uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed, and it's really the least that we could do to serve other people and to not be so focused on ourselves, because Jesus came to serve people, not to be served.
Dice says that nearly $3,000 were raised from this year's garage sale. If you would like to donate to the cause, money can be donated through this QR code on the screen.
As for the future of She Has a Name, Dice is in the works of another lip sync battle, color run, and other events at Pathway to raise money for the cause. For Studio 415, I'm Tanner Marker.
Heads down, staring at a screen, and not watching where they're going, students have been given permission to use their phones in school.
Studio 415 reporter Rocky Morales spoke with students and administrators about why this policy has changed and if it will stay in place.
This new rule focuses on cell phones. It allows students to have their phones out during passing periods and lunch. This rule has just come to Carroll this year. The students are very appreciative of the rule. Junior class president Luke Williams says that it helps as it means that there are less phones being confiscated.
I think it was necessary because a lot of students were getting their phones taken in the hallway. You didn't really know which teacher was going to take them. So yeah, I would say it was definitely necessary.
The phone rule before was disobeyed a lot in the past. People would have their phones out in the hallways when they were not allowed to. The students were also using their phones in class, and since the phone rule was changed, there hasn't been as many phones taken away. Sophomore Jaden Cochran says that students have gotten very accustomed to being on their phone.
Just because there's obviously a lot of reliance on like cell phones these days from youth, like it's become a part of our daily lives.
Even though the rule change was made to benefit the students, it has benefited the teachers too. This new rule change benefits teachers by letting them be able to trust their students. It also means that less phones are taken away by teachers, which builds up more trust between the students and teachers. English teacher Valerie Harold says that the new policy helps students learn responsibility.
Absolutely. I think that as long as the conversations are had, hey, you know what, I'm up here talking, phones need to be put away. Hey, you know what, you're not done with your assignment, you should not have your phone out right now. I think that continuing to have those conversations and then also to model it as adults.
The phone rule is subject to change and is temporary for the future. For Studio 415, I am Rocky Morel.
Every school year, teachers come to Carroll High School to find a new job and new opportunities.
Studio 415 reporter Bryson Klein had the opportunity to speak with one of these new teachers and brings you their story.
Spanish teacher Rachel McGuire has recently started teaching here at Carroll and has already made an impact. Located in room D18, McGuire teaches both Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. McGuire strives in helping her students learn and pushing them to do their best. She is very passionate about her teaching and believes that learning a new language is an important skill.
When you travel, you feel so much more comfortable if you can understand or be understood. It helps you understand the culture more. So yeah, definitely learn another language, maybe 2 extra languages.
McGuire loves her new job at Carroll. Her positive attitude and studious environment encourage students to strive for an A. McGuire makes sure to support her students to make sure they are always at their best. Spanish 2 student Samantha Harder explains how McGuire helps them to achieve their goals.
Yeah, she definitely challenges us in a good way to help us so that we can get good grades on the tests. And if we don't, then she encourages us to study harder.
McGuire studied at Ball State University before she began teaching. Her passion for Spanish inspired her to want to teach it to others. She taught for 15 years before coming to Carroll. Her exceptional knowledge of Spanish made her a great fit for Carroll. Overall, she's had a very positive experience and is very passionate about teaching here. Despite joining Carroll quite recently, Mrs. McGuire has managed to make an impact on her students, and her unique way of teaching has helped many students excel at Spanish. If you spot her, make sure to greet and welcome her as a new teacher here at Carroll. For Studio 415, I'm Bryson Klein.
Girls Golf has wrapped up the regular season and football is in its midseason form.
Jane Householder and Chase Roberts bring you this week's Charter Sports Center.
Hello and welcome to the Charter Sports Center. I'm Jaden Householder, and here with me as always is my co-host, Chase Roberts.
Carroll Boys Soccer is back this week after a little action to start September. They had 3 matches this past week against Lures, Northrop, and Northside.
The boys squeaked out those 3 games, outscoring their opponent 6-3 with these 3 wins. This moves our record to 10-2 on the season.
This regular season is coming to a close with this team, just with only a couple games left. Captain Derek Lanning brings his input on how he believes his team can finish out the season.
I think we can finish out really strong. We just got to keep moving the ball, keeping it on the ground, not forcing stuff, and finishing our chances. Because a lot of our shots tonight didn't fall, but even though we got the win, we got to finish our chances.
Boys soccer is back at home for their last 2 games, starting on the 27th against East Noble. While boys tennis hit the road this last week, with 3 games resulting in 3 close losses to Homestead, Huntington North, and Delta.
These games outpassed for the boys. The record now sits in 12-5 on the season. Nice performances in these matches from singles player Sam Nieder, winning 2 of his 3 matches and both doubles teams shutting out Huntington North's doubles players on Monday.
The tennis team returns home tomorrow for their senior night before their postseason starts next week. Well, Carroll football didn't play in front of a home crowd this past week in their 27-24 loss to the number 1 seeded Snyder this past Friday.
That's right, Jaden. The team fought hard on Snyder, but just fell short. Quarterback Jimmy Sullivan finished his game 13 for 32 passing yards with 219 yards of the air and 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Jaden Van Pelt on the receiving end of those 2 touchdowns from his quarterback Jimmy Sullivan.
Carroll falls to 3-2, 2-1 in the conference after this game, but they look to bounce back with back-to-back home games coming up, starting with Wayne on Friday. Don't be a lot of time left for some great Carroll football. Well, that's all we have for this week. Signing off for the Chargers Sports Center, I'm Jaden Householder.
And I'm Chase Roberts. Back to you guys in the studio.
That's all we have today. Thanks for watching.
If there is a story you would like us to cover, please let us know.
For all of us here at CHS 415, have a great week, Carroll.